Hello, Janet.
Hello, Dor. Greetings from Aotearoa, New Zealand, Kirikiri.
Wow. Greetings from Nicaragua, 𝕒𝕚𝕒𝕟𝕜 Island.
Wow, what a beautiful background.
Yeah, I set it
Thank
up
you.
so people can enjoy also the nice view behind me.
Beautiful. Thank you for being willing to talk about what is radically responsible space holding, Dor.
Yes. Thank you, Janet, for taking the interview and taking your time to take a stand for that.
And I think in case people are new to this, even tell us what is space holding?
So space holding is how I take care of the space around me. Am I conscious of what I'm doing in the space around me? For example, right now I'm surrounded by people walking around me. Am I consciously engaged in what's going on in the space, or am I unconscious? So an example for being unconscious, I don't know what the purpose of me being here in this space. I don't know what's really going on for me. So really space holding is being conscious of the purpose and taking care of everything the space needs.
Hmm.
And that might
So
be,
would you say we grounded and bubbled and centered before? Would you say that's part of you taking care?
yeah, that's a great example. We have this practice that comes from possibility management to ground ourselves, center our energetic center, and create this energetic bubble, which is basically an energetic reference to the space. Where is my space, and where is the space around me? And that would be an engagement in that space holding as a space holder.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then radically responsible space holding. Tell me what that is.
Okay. So there's levels of responsibility, and
Hmm.
we can talk about just roughly here without getting too much into the 5 level of responsibility. No responsibility at all, child level responsibility, adult level responsibility, high responsibility, and radical responsibility. So you can already imagine this graph of responsibility. Most of the people, modern culture, are somewhere between no, like child level responsibility, which means I'm making messes and expecting the parents to take care of them, or expecting someone else. So if we take that into space holding, who do I expect to take care of the space, of the maybe the messes that are created in the space? Maybe there's some unconscious purposes in the space. For example, let's say I'm holding a space for a men's circle, and someone comes and starts joking around and making the space like light, making the space not vulnerable, not so people could not feel their feelings. So he's using some kind of an unconscious purpose in the space. So who's responsible to take care of it? Who's responsible to set up a boundary? Like, hey, what you're doing is not working right now. So that's the space holder. If the space holder has radical responsibility about the space, that's an
Thank
example.
you. Thank you. Anything else you want to say about that?
I mean, I just want to talk to the need that I see around me in more radically responsible spaces, because
Hmm.
here I am sitting in this beautiful place, and it's much rooted in what we call modern culture. It's much about tourism and consuming, and I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong. It's just that's the level of responsibility we're here in. And there's a lot of also new age culture going on. For example, a lot of there's like yoga, kundalini, sound healing, tantric activation, cacao ceremonies. And that also is in a certain level of responsibility. So it's like what is the purpose of doing a cacao ceremony, for example? What stand does it take about the world? So really I want to invite people to, and just coming out of this interview with something is just as a question, what is the purpose of something that you're taking a stand for right now? Let's say you're a coach or you're a space holder. What is the level of responsibility that you're taking? You can ask yourself this question and start writing about it, and that can take you on a journey.
Yay, thank you. So, Dor, why is radically responsible space holding and coaching training as crucial as water to a man in the desert? I love that question.
Yeah, so turns out people really looking for that spaces. I'm having conversation with people around here, and there's so many sensitive people. Sensitive people is people that have this in look to themselves, and throughout their life they had more in look into what's going on for them. So they're more sensitive to their, not only physically but also to their feelings. And I see all these sensitive people walking around here, and they really have this calling for that. That's why we opened the space holder training, and that we're talking about here, but also really being in a radically responsible space where they can be vulnerable, they can feel. Janet, I'm talking to people here sometimes in the conversation, and I'm just stopping and creating a space for what they feel. I'm like, you feel sad right now, you feel angry because of that. And I'm just completing what they're saying, and it's so unusual in modern culture, in new age culture even, that people are really thirsty for that. Like, you can really feel
That's why you're calling it a desert, as important as water to a man in a desert. Say more about the desert of modern culture.
Yeah, so even in kids, I worked with in schools in Israel, holding workshops for kids like that. And since we grow up in modern culture, there's no space to feel. For example, a kid will feel sad. What would someone do? What would someone come? The sport teacher, for example.
It's okay, you're okay, stand up.
Yeah, toughen it up, be a man. Like,
yeah.
So a man in modern culture is the kid that grew up without being able to feel his sadness, or his anger, or his fear. So that is a desert, because feelings are natural to us. And my big sadness is that even when I go here to a workshop, it's like a man's circle or some kind of a meditation, mindfulness practice. If I say I feel angry about this right now, or I feel sad about this, there's still going to be this rescuing. Someone is going to try to rescue me, tell me, no, it's going to be all right. Make it funny, make it light. It's like, even going new age spaces like that, I still feel this thirst to be in a different kind of space, in a next culture space.
So the desert is, there's nobody really holds space and feels feelings with you, or holds a space where you can have your own feelings. That's the desert you're talking about.
Yes.
And then the water, what's this water you're offering to these thirsty people, Dor?
What is this offer? It's possibilities. It's a space where forces of the universe, like possibilities, love, connection, clarity, authenticity, can come into the space and serve them for what they need, for their next steps, for adventure, for what they're stuck with.
So it's a particular quality of space, somewhat like a church for some people. They go for a particular purpose. This is a different kind of sacred space, you said? No.
I wouldn't say sacred.
No? What would you? Oh, it's so, as in it's so rare. So rare. But anyway, you used your word. It was just the image came to me then. A particular quality of space.
Yeah. Yes. This tender space where sensitive people can bring out their genius. We work in teams here in possibility management, and there's such magic being created when a bunch of these sensitive people are in the space together, being vulnerable with each other. Like I just had a call with a friend from possibility management that we're just being so vulnerable with each other. And it's like, there's thirst to be there. So imagine, like, I know that you are part of these spaces, so you already know, but I think people don't really know that, like how it is to sit with 10 sensitive people together in a space and being able to be radically vulnerable, radically responsible, safe to really feel, and then start to give each other possibilities, and then create teams for what we want.
And what makes your training that you're going to offer radically responsible, say, compared to other experiences of trainings people might have had?
So in our spaces, there are different kind of distinctions. It's really different context. It's hard to compare to anything else. So the distinctions, for example, what we're already talking about is feelings are okay. Your anger, your fear, your sadness, your joy are okay in the space. And that already creates a different kind of set of possibilities. So imagine you would hold a man's circle or a women's circle. I know that some of my clients in my workshop are women's circle space holders. So for them to hear that the whole circle can be just about what our women have rage about,
Yeah.
it's life-changing for their space holding. And yeah, and for men, I think it's a lot about the sadness, being able to be sad and vulnerable with each other. And for, let's say, even if you're doing yoga and you come to our space holder training, you can get tools of how to do an emotional healing process. So I practiced yoga for like 10 years, maybe more. And a lot of the times after I did the yoga treatment, I had a lot of emotions coming up. So what do I do for my clients when emotions come up after a yoga session? As a space holder, what do I offer them? Or a massage therapist, or someone that holds ceremonies like singing circles, music ceremonies. How can you interact with feelings and emotion in your space? What happens when your context become more clear to you as a space holder? There's a lot of tools in possibility management to make things clear, like how to write down your context. What are you here for? What are you here about? So part of this space holder training is not only about the tools that you get for other people, it's also about like this journey that I am going through. This journey that I'm going through to make my purpose more clear, to realize what is the standard I'm taking into the world. What is my special archetypal lineage? These special forces that I'm connected with, that are special to me, that I can bring forward into my spaces. There's a lot of powers.
Yay.
Yeah.
I want to add to you too that I used to train counselors and psychotherapists for many years. And a key distinction from possibility management is the distinction between emotions and feelings. Because some psychotherapy processes don't make any of those distinctions and keep people stuck in old emotions, rehashing them. Have you got anything to say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was in one of these psychologist therapies for a while. When I was back in my university years, I was depressed. I had exactly what you're saying, this mixture of emotions.
Yeah.
And I tried to do a lot of the modern culture stuff, like coaching, like regular coaching, how to improve yourself, to get more money, to improve in your career. And I tried to go to psychology without those distinctions, that nobody talked to me about these distinctions. And I tried to take antidepressant pills and do more yoga and more meditation. But at a certain point, it was really, when I came to possibility management, I realized it's really about that, this distinction between feeling and emotions, and how to work with that. It's such a huge treasure.
Yay, thank you. Yeah. I want to share with you about the space holding on the weekend. Are you okay about that?
Yes.
At the family camp?
Yeah,
so,
please do.
I've been holding spaces up here for 10 years or more, and plenty of people didn't want to come. So we held a Next Culture family camp last weekend. Like you say, 6 of us who are sensitive space holders. So the parents, they came in as parents with all these weights of expectations. and they left as researching discoverers, space holders. The transformation in their relationship with their children and their children's relationship with them, it went both ways because they held a space, didn't do neurotic listening or neurotic speaking. I could do a whole interview with you just about the magic of that. So I'm confirming from last weekend, fresh off the boat, the difference of when we can hold radically responsible spaces, magic happens.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Even people for working with children and with parents, it's so important. This radically space holder training to get this different context for your work. Really change your context, change your origin point, where you're coming from to do this work. And that's what we're taking a stand for with this team that we have. We have team of people coming from the context of possibility management that are great, and they're taking a stand for that, because that's so important for them, that they're, that's what we are here for, to do, to use our anger to take a stand for that.
Wow. So it sounds like you're really passionate about this radically responsible space holding and coaching training.
Yeah, and also I want to bring there's a lot of fun in it. It's a high level of fun. When I was doing coaching for self-development more than 4 years ago, a lot of time when I work with my clients, I got stuck because I could not talk about the emotional body. I didn't have any distinction about that. All I knew was physical body, training yourself, energetic body, all this meditation and yoga, and intellectual body, all these theories. But I knew nothing about the emotional body. And every time I got stuck with my clients, it was painful. It was really painful to see, they cannot really change because they don't have that change of origin point, transformation with the emotional body, transforming old stuck emotions, and clarity on how to use their feeling as adults in this authentic adulthood path. So it was really painful for me. So yeah, so there's a lot of joy in that, to be able to get that training for yourself for whatever you do, whatever is your purpose, and we're having fun also in the group.
Yay. Anything else, Dor? Any other questions you'd like to answer?
I want to propose to you to do this interview about what you shared about this lack of distinction between feelings and emotion with you. So I think that's maybe our next interview.
Yeah, let's do that another time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if the space holder doesn't have that distinction, the space is so murky. And especially with people thinking they've got to fulfill the needs of the unmet child from the past. It gets so murky. So yes, let's do that another time. Sure.
Yeah, great. I'm glad you shared about it. And we're opening our doors for that.